Welcome back. Let's return to the issue of the Health MEC in Limpopo and what some believed was her misplaced sex education. She told some schoolgirls on Wednesday to, quote, open your books and close your legs. She told us earlier on this show that she did not put the responsibility for teen pregnancies on girls alone, but also spoke to boy learners, so that was not included in the clip, and told them not to engage in sexual activity. To discuss, we're joined by gender and social activist Lebo Ramafoko. Ms. Ramafoko, thank you very much. Is that fair enough? She's saying she was quoted out of context and her message was to both girls and boys, although she did emphasize that girls often bear the brunt, obviously, of teen pregnancy.
Well, even if we had had the full clip and she had spoken about boys as well, she's making a number of fundamental errors. The first error is that young women are most likely impregnated by people out of school, and they are not impregnated by their peers. That is a fact that is known, and that is one of the major drivers of HIV. Girls between the ages of 15 to 24 get infected by. It's normally men that are much older than their counterparts. The second thing is that when all of the pregnancy statistics were released, we have been saying as activists across many organizations that what we are seeing is statutory rape and it is child abuse. And so the message that close your thighs and open your books actually speaks against that, and in fact blame girls who may even be sexually abused.
Yeah,
I think MEC
to play devil's advocate, surely some of them do have a choice in the matter. Are we all blaming the MEC for saying something rather than nothing, and the scourge continues?
So what is the agency that we are talking about? Because young people will have sex. And in fact, what we should be saying is, what are we doing as adults when young people who have sex, it leads into a pregnancy? Young people will have sex, and you want, when young people have sex, they know basically what their choices are, and they actually have access to condoms. And show me a 14-year-old who has sex because they are choosing to have sex.
Okay.
It is choice, and they are exercising that choice with all the information that they know. I think the MEC is buying into a very old conservative way that will put the blame into the hands of children in this case, and not really speak about what is the social context that leads young people to have sex and then become pregnant. A lot of the young people, if the MEC read all of the research that was done about what are the circumstances that make young people have sex at a very early age, and what are the interventions that will make young people not have sex at an early age, the MEC will then realize that a lot of this agency does not rest in the hands of young people. What are the circumstances that make young people have sex? I would want an 18-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, when they have sex, to basically have comprehensive sex education at the very beginning, which we are struggling to have in this country, which we have parents even opposed to. And so when you know that the basics that young people need, young women need, in order to make informed choices, and the comprehensive nature of this education, you're not going to be saying to young women, close your thighs and open your books, and say that is health education, or stop teenage pregnancy. And I think when we speak down to young people, even when they are making the decision to make sex, that is exactly why they won't come to us as adults when they are navigating what is a very complex world for young people.
Yeah.
We need to be speaking to young people in a manner that shows the complexity of the choices that they are making.
All right, so you're saying they won't appreciate the tone. And I did speak to the MEC about male aggressors. Some of those we know are even teachers. She said she did address the teachers, but is government doing enough to ensure that educators themselves are not the predators in these cases?
No, they are not. I mean, when I worked at Soul City and we did the Soul Buddies clubs, which this government has actually closed many of the clubs that had evidence that they are leading to delayed sexual debut. So the evidence that I know of is that this government has not supported programs that basically show evidence for delaying sexual debut. A number of the teachers who were supporting the learners in the Soul Buddies clubs were talking about the victimization that they feel. So you'll find a teacher who mentors children. A young child goes to them and say, this teacher is asking me to give them sexual favors. Their own colleagues will be victimizing them if that teacher dares support the child to go and lay a charge. What about, everything else that is happening in society? What about the fact that a number of children, are impregnated by people that they know and sexually abused by people that they know? Why are you not speaking about that? Especially when you are in a position of power of MMCs. I want our leaders to speak about the power that they have and the difference that they have, and less so to victim blame young people who in many instances do not have the kind of resources that will enable them, including information and education, that will enable them to make those choices. But when you speak to young people, please understand the complexity of the lives of young people, the era of all of us. And I know that we were brought up like the MEC. When you start menstruating, somebody says to you, well, don't go out there and play with boys. What does that mean? Even the MEC, what is closing your thighs? When we've got such big rape statistics, when somebody can hold something against you and basically open your thighs, are you going to then say every young person that had sex, they willingly open their thighs? What is the dynamic that is happening in the MEC? She is perpetrating and perpetuating messages that have not shown to work.
All right, thank you for your view. Gender and social activist Lebo Ramafoko responding to the MEC's words to those teenage girls earlier this week.